New loot run camps, beacon changes, and class storage. We knew that would happen, but Korkian augments, loot run missions, and sacrifices? Now that's exciting, so let's take a look into the new update. First off, there's two new loot run camps, the Molten Heights Hike and the Sky Islands Exploration. Both are higher level than the Corcus camp, but lower level than the Silent Expanse camp. And to unlock them, there's some new caves as well as some quest requirements. There's also some clouds and geysers to help you traverse these areas when loot running, as well as even some special void holes in the Silent Expanse. Then there's loot run missions. After 4 challenges are completed, you get a mission, which gives you an objective and a reward when completed. Then you can get offered up to 3 more missions from gray beacons. The objectives can be anything from opening chests to gaining more reward pools, and the rewards can be anything from removing a curse, getting reward rerolls, or even reward sacrifices. Well, they're also new, and they allow you to transfer half of the pulls you got from this loot run to the next one instead of cashing out rewards this time. That way you can save a bad run by transferring the pulls to the next one, and if you get more sacrifices from missions, you can transfer even more than half to the next run's rewards. And speaking of rewards, there's Korkian augments. In the loot pool you can now find Korkian simulators and insulators, which like amplifiers can be used when you're identifying, all in a new awesome menu. Simulators are useful if you want to re-roll without getting the roll count and the cost to increase for that roll. And insulators are useful if you want to protect one identification from changing but re-roll everything else. And the handy thing is you can now combine these with amplifiers, however not with each other. Also on the topic of rewards, shiny mythics have gotten a few more trackers. There's also been some other changes to loot runs. Notably, the yellow beacon now spawns a flying chest when completed. This chest has better loot, and it's also affected by loot bonus and quality. And if it's boosted with aqua beacon or vibrant, there's more flying chests. The orange beacon now only lasts for 6 challenges, and aqua or vibrant boosts only increase that duration and not the amount of options. But don't worry, it appears more often, and there's now 3 beacon options as the base once you've leveled up your loot run levels. Aqua beacon has also been tweaked as well. It can no longer be stacked, but it's also no longer limited in how many you can get. Red and green beacons also no longer have a max limit, and as mentioned earlier, gray beacons now offer missions instead of rerolls. Dark gray was also nerfed to give as many pulls as curses. Some other changes include some buff to boons, so they're a bit more powerful, and some nerfs to curses so they're not as strong, as well as combining them in the tab menu to make it more legible. Apart from loot runs, there's also the addition of class storage. Each character slot has now its own storage, which you can access from the regular bank. So there's more storage for you to have, and ranks unlock even more. But be careful, because if you delete a class, you also delete that class's specific storage. There's also been some work in the back end on moving versions, so support for versions below 1.16 will be dropped in the coming future. One of the new features for higher versions is increased render distance of around up to 12 instead of 8. Lastly, there's just been various bug fixes and other smaller changes, most notably being a change to dueling recipes, now requiring a majority of gems instead of oil. Now, many of these things we got hints of during our interview with Salted about the loot run update, so if you're curious, check out our other interview content. We even got more on the way as well.